So I just managed a big pre-order campaign for my most recent book, and that involved getting a huge shipment of print books, print special editions, that I sold to readers. I ordered these books directly from BOOKVAULT, the printer. I wrapped and packaged and shipped those all out myself, and in this video I'm going to give you a quick overview of what working with BOOKVAULT was like. In this video, I'm going to share with you how many books I ordered, how long it took to place that order, how long it took for the books to arrive, and then give you a review of like how many arrived damaged, how many arrived fine, and actually show you the physical copy of the BOOKVAULT book and give you a little bit of a review of the quality. So BOOKVAULT is one of the main printers that you can order print books from. Printers like hardcovers with jackets are in the UK. Like if you wanted to order special editions with sprayed edges or foiling or like hardcovers with jackets, those printers are currently in the UK, although I think that they are looking to expand into the US, but they have US-based paperback printers, and also I believe you can order hardcovers with no jackets domestically in the US. How BOOKVAULT works is you create an account and you upload your files directly into BOOKVAULT. You have to pay like a one-time title setup fee, which I believe was like $18 US, and you upload your files and then it immediately reads your files and tells you like whether they work or whether they don't work and just kind of approves or denies them. Once BOOKVAULT has approved all your files, you get the green check mark across the board, which can be a little bit finicky. I had to upload and re-upload files many times to get it to give me the check mark. It was pretty random at times. Like I would upload the exact same file. Like I'd upload it once and then I'd change something about it and I'd go back to the previous version that worked, and that previous version that had gotten the green check mark before was now getting an X and it wouldn't tell me why. Like it was a little bit finicky, but it wasn't impossible to get through. Once I'd figured out how to get through that process and have all of my files approved, that took about a day, just because they had specific specifications like that were different than Ingram Sparks. They wanted their files to look a particular way, and so I had to download Adobe InDesign and download the cover templates from BOOKVAULT and then basically resize my covers into the BOOKVAULT templates and do all of that myself just to make sure everything fit. I'm sure other cover designers also do this for you, but I personally didn't want to have to pay extra money in order to do this, so I just did it myself. So because I ordered 200 hardcovers and because I ordered 200 books, like the BOOKVAULT portal allows you to order 100 at a time without having to create a custom order. But because I was at 200, I had to email the rep in order to place my order. This was really freaking me out because the rep was taking a very long time to respond to my emails. It would take like 1 to 2 business days every single time I would get an email back and forth. And so when I was ready, when I had my finals finally ready, I was like, I need to get this order in ASAP because I was kind of right up against the timeline. And it took a week and a half to place that order over email. I was freaking out about this. I thought it was going to take a really long time because that week and a half was really important in my printing timeline that I had created. And so I was panicking that my pre-orders were going to be really late. So I was like really like over email being like, please respond as soon as you can. Like I really want to get this order placed. And I would get my shipping quotes over email as well. So I got quoted specifically for the number of books, which was a very strange number because the amount I paid in shipping was significantly cheaper than what I had budgeted for. It was really weird. Like I had absolutely no idea how to price my pre-orders, and it was my first time ever doing anything like this. And so I used my book They Fall as the model for like kind of the general quantity and weight because I had those files already in BOOKVAULT and they wouldn't give me a quote on the shipping until I had my final files. So just as a ballpark, I uploaded all my files for They Fall because I had all of those into BOOKVAULT and paid the title setup fee and everything just to try to get a quote for it. I got quoted, I think like £1,600 for shipping. I ended up paying like under £500 for shipping of the Love Trials for the same number of books. It was really weird. And then when I went to go place an order of 100 copies of the Love Trials, I was quoted like, I think £1,000 or something in shipping when I just paid a lot less. And so I don't really understand where that number came from. I asked the BOOKVAULT rep and they said that it was just some sort of bulk shipping discount that they have, and I'm not complaining. It ended up being really, really great for me, but like I don't know how much I would trust it. Like I'm not going to use that like under £500 number when I'm pricing my next pre-order just in case prices go up, because I think it's really likely that it's going to be significantly more expensive. And then always if shipping is like less expensive, that's a good thing for me and my business because that means that I don't have as much upfront cost. So I finally placed this order over email of these 200 hardcovers. I was absolutely floored when they arrived literally 1 week later from the UK. Everything takes forever to get to me anyway. I live in rural Montana and like it just takes a long time for packages to get delivered, but literally like I think 8 days from placing the order, all of the books had arrived. So this was unbelievable. I was absolutely shocked. I was over the moon because I had allotted at least I think like 2 or 3 weeks for printing time, and they arrived so quickly that like it made up for that week and a half of emailing back and forth to place the order. So this was amazing. I was so impressed by this and so happy. And then I unboxed the books. I had never seen like that many books in one place, so this was a huge project for me to like unload everything everything, unbox everything, and then do a quality check of all of the books. So of those 200 books, 9 came defective. So they came with the first few pages completely, like they were so crooked that the top of the page was falling out of the book or the bottom of the page was falling out. Like I couldn't sell them, like the pages were literally falling out. 4 others had dust jackets with spines, like the wording of the on the spine was too misaligned for me to sell, like the wording was all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom. And 2 arrived seriously dented and damaged from shipping. So that's 15 damaged copies out of 200. Oh, and 4 came with bad edges. So that's 19 copies in total that had an error with them. Like bad edges, like the edge printing, the forced edges were just, it wasn't like cut properly. So there were like, there's white where there should be dark edges, and I didn't want to sell those copies because they didn't look good. I just wanted to jump in while I was editing this video to also note that BookVault does not promise that forced edges are going to look good. This is a very new feature that indie authors have started experimenting with, like actually printing books with forced edges. And there's no guarantee from BookVault or Ingram Spark or any printers that forced edges are going to come out looking nice. Maybe one day that's a service that they're going to offer, but they don't officially offer forced edges. So that is a risk that I assumed that it's not an issue on BookVault's part and they didn't do anything wrong with the forced edges. That is a risk that I assumed when wanting to try printing with forced edges, knowing that some of them would come back with bad edges. So I just wanted to make that super clear that that was not an issue on BookVault's part, and they did by far the most beautiful job with the forced edges out of any printer that I worked with, and I worked with 3 on its pre-order, so real mad props to BookVault for that. So 19 out of 200 came with errors. I emailed BookVault and I told them about the 9 that came defective with the bad pages, and about the 4 that had the misaligned spines, and then the 2 that were really dented from shipping, and I asked for a refund for those copies. I did get a refund for all the ones with the pages that were printed, but they kind of just totally ignored all of the other copies. Even when I asked again about like the misaligned dust jackets and also the shipping damage, I didn't get refunds for any of the other copies. Obviously the forced edges, that's a risk that I take. All of these printers do not guarantee forced edges being printed correctly. BookVault will urge you to do sprayed edges instead of forced edges. Forced edges are when the book's interior design is printed. So there's like a thin border on the edge of the page. When it's all put together, it makes this design on the edge of the page. And that's why it's called forced edges. They are great because they don't increase the cost of printing per book. It's the same amount to print the book with this option as it is to print just a regular book with cream normal edges. But in order to get that effect, the pages have to be cut very accurately. And so sometimes a lot of printers will they'll cut a little bit too close and then the edges will look white and they won't be completely consistent. And so this is a newer thing that Vellum and other indie authors are offering, but none of these printers are guaranteeing results. So I assumed that risk when I did this because I didn't have the budget to do sprayed edges because they were significantly more expensive. But really, BookVault did an amazingly beautiful job. Like only 4 of the edges were unsellable and the rest of them came absolutely beautiful. So I wasn't expecting to get refunds for those. I was expecting to get refunds for the shipping damage because that is not my fault. Like they should have packaged the books better if they came with shipping damage. That's on the printer. I was also expecting to get refunds for the misaligned dust jackets because that is also on the printer. Like they gave me a bad product that I cannot sell. And so I should have gotten refunded for those, and I was a little frustrated about that. But the refund process for the defective copies was super easy. I sent them some pictures and then they just credited me the refund. So generally the whole process was good. I was shocked at how many came in sellable condition. The ones that came were absolutely gorgeous. I will show you that book in more close detail in a second, but the ones that came were beautiful. I didn't have that many come defective, especially compared to the other printers. The refund process was really easy. I was a little bit miffed about the fact that they wouldn't refund for shipping and dust jacket issues because that is on them and not on me. But I still will use BookVault again. I thought that the shipping time was also fantastic and my whole experience was really, really great. I'm just gonna need to account for the damaged copies. Like I had issues with 19 out of 200. So next time I do this, I'm just gonna order more to pad that a little bit and then hopefully have everything print really nicely and not have a giant disaster. But if you use them, just be prepared that they're only gonna give refunds for defective copies and not damaged copies. But the good thing is that they packaged the books the best out of any printer that I used. Like they actually bubble wrapped the books and they were packed really tightly. And so only 2 out of 200 came with shipping damage. And that was unbelievably awesome. I'm afraid to make my videos about the other printers and I am holding off on making my Ingram Spark video until I actually see whether or not they refund me for the 70 plus copies that came with insane shipping damage. So let's talk about the book itself. So these books are insanely high quality. This is why I love doing pre-orders that I fulfill myself, because I can do these special features like these forced edges. Like I would never just put a forced edge file up on a print on demand site and have them print it and ship it out to people, because I want to be able to do quality control. Like there were some that came with issues with the forced edges, and I am not sending those out and not shipping those, and I'm only shipping out the ones that came in nice condition. But the dust jacket is this like beautiful matte material, and the colors are super vibrant. Like I'm gonna grab an Ingram Spark cover so you can see the color difference. I don't know how much this is gonna come out on camera, but this is the Ingram Spark hardcover, and this is the BOOKVAULT hardcover. The purples and yellows, the yellow colors here, like the colors of the BOOKVAULT hardcover, and also some of the pinks and purples here pop so much more on the BOOKVAULT hardcover. I don't know what they make it out of, but it feels way softer than any of the other books that I have. And then I have it, so it's just a removable dust jacket. And underneath, the book is also still super high quality, and the colors really, really pop. All the way around, it's just really, really pretty. This is how the forced edges came out. They're really, really crisp. Basically, all of the hardcovers looked like this. Any ones that didn't, and like didn't have these kind of crisp lines and had issues like with the printing on the top and the bottom, I just didn't sell them. But I don't know if you can really see on the camera, but all of the lines of all of these symbols are really, really crisp on the BOOKVAULT editions. They're not fuzzy, they're really, really clear. And they did a really nice job cutting around the pages too. Like the border, I mean, it's not absolutely even across all sides, but it's pretty good. The pages are incredibly soft and just like really floppy and really nice to read. Like just the quality of the book is extremely high. Like this is the nicest quality hardcover that I've ever had printed. And when you have the books open, the forced edges get darker. Like they're kind of gray when you have it all together, but like when you're opening the book, all of the edges look a little darker. It's really pretty. All of the images printed really nice. I had custom scene breaks and chapter headings designed for these special editions that I even like, I have these published in the paperbacks because I still wanted to do something special for the Love Trials paperbacks, and it doesn't cost more for me to have these like on Amazon and everything, like still have these in them, so I still have those in them, but they're also in the hardcovers, and that's why I had them designed. And this is like, it's a hefty book, it's a thick book, but it's just absolutely beautifully printed and beautifully done. So an absolute 10 out of 10 for quality from BOOKVAULT. I was incredibly impressed, and I will be using them to print all of the hardcovers in this series because I really want them all to match. Like these are all collector's items, and I'm really finicky about my hardcovers, and so my pre-ordered like special edition hardcovers for every book in the series I want to do through BOOKVAULT, just so that everything is matched and like there are no mismatches of material or anything like that. I also had BOOKVAULT print one paperback for me because they have US based paperback printers, and I wanted to test the quality against Barnes & Noble because I am about to restock on paperbacks for my TikTok shop, and I just wanted to see what the quality would be like. This is my Barnes & Noble special edition paperback, and so the BOOKVAULT paperback is a lot shinier. Like I don't know if you can really tell, you can see it's like reflecting the sun more. This is a more matte material, and this is slightly more glossy and a little bit like plasticky. Like it's almost slippery to hold in your hand, and it's just like it's got some sort of plastic hard coating on the cover. I don't mind it. It feels very tough. It came with a couple of like minor printing issues, like the glue on this part, and then there's a dent in the corner from like from shipping, I think. And it's a little bit weird, like the front cover, I don't know if you can see, is a little bit longer than all of the pages, so it overhangs over the pages a little bit. And there's a little bit of a peel up. Like I think that there's the plastic coating on the cover is like peeling up a little bit on the bottom. But all in all, it's not bad. It's a nice book. These are gonna be my special author edition paperbacks that I will be selling direct on TikTok shop. They're not the special editions. They don't have the like special forced edges, but I really liked these like just black borders on the pages. I thought it is something a little bit cool that you can only get when buying directly from me. And I wanted to make the copies that are available directly from me a little bit special compared to the ones that you would get on Amazon. And so that is what I've chosen to do. I have also, in this version of the book, printed all of the bonus content actually inside the book, which is very exciting. The interior, like the words are almost like darker and thicker, like the text is, than the hardcovers. And it's slightly darker and thicker than the Barnes & Noble paperback. I wasn't blown away by these paperbacks, but I don't mind them. What it's gonna come down to is just pricing. I'm gonna compare the pricing of doing a bulk order on BOOKVAULT versus a bulk order of Barnes & Noble, because a lot of my Barnes & Noble paperbacks came damaged, but they were really, really good about sending me replacement copies. So I had a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth about them at the end of the pre-order, but then because they were so good about sending me replacement copies, they are now back in the running for me using them again. But all in all, like the BOOKVAULT paperbacks were also very nice. And it's a good product that I would be very, very happy to sell. Like it feels kind of deluxe with the cool like smooth covers on the back and front. And also there were no issues with the edges. The edges printed perfectly all around the border. So after I finished filming this video, I realized I didn't even talk about how much it cost. So I'm gonna quickly break down how much the order was, how much each hardcover was to print, and like how much shipping was from BOOKVAULT. So this whole process was a little bit weird. When I was pricing my hardcover, I was really nervous about the shipping prices because there was also a lot of instability about oil prices, and like I just knew that shipping companies would be raising their rates, and like between when I launched the pre-order and when I would have to ship books out. And I also had absolutely no idea how much it was going to cost to ship from the UK and ship books from the UK into the US. So I was talking to the BOOKVAULT rep about it, and she said that she couldn't give me a shipping quote until she actually had my files loaded into BOOKVAULT, but I didn't have my files yet. I didn't have my cover, I didn't have my interior file when I launched the pre-order. And so I did my best and I uploaded the files for my book They Fall into BOOKVAULT just to try to get an estimate. Because I mean, it's smaller, it's lighter, but it would give me something to go off of. So I uploaded it, and then I asked the BOOKVAULT rep if she could give me a quote for how much it would be to ship 200 of those books to me. And she told me it would be 1,571 pounds. And I was like, holy cannoli, that's a lot in shipping. And so I put that into my pricing model because I was like, if I use that estimate, the Love Trials is bigger, it's thicker, it's gonna be even more expensive to ship. So when I put together my pricing model for my hardcovers, I had to factor that into it. I also didn't know what my credit card conversion fees would be, and all sorts of additional costs factored into that. And because this is my first time ever doing this, I really hedged just to protect myself because there were a lot of unknowns in this whole equation. And next time I'm gonna have a better understanding of what to expect, hopefully. So per hardcover printed on BOOKVAULT, it was roughly 11 pounds. And then when I asked the rep, when I was actually ready to place the order, once I had uploaded the Love Trials files into BOOKVAULT, I asked her how much it would be for shipping. She said for standard service, the cost would be 458 pounds, which was so much cheaper than I had budgeted for, and I didn't understand why. And then I'd asked her for a quote for 100 books, and somehow it was more expensive. It was like double the price to ship 100 books than it was for 200 books, because I guess they get like a discount for bulk shipping or something like that. It's just like discounted for BOOKVAULT for some reason. And it was very confusing when I asked why it was so much cheaper. Like even reading back the answer that I got now, I still don't really understand why it was cheaper at 200 books, but for some reason it just ended up working out that way. So in US dollars, that roughly equates to $3,574.25. More with the credit card like currency exchange fees, and slightly more because of different duties and tariffs and things that I got charged. That came out to roughly $18 per hardcover, which was crazy. It was so much cheaper than what I thought that it was gonna be when I launched the pre-order. But it's really lucky that I actually padded it because I had so many more costs associated with the pre-order than I thought that I would. Like shipping materials were so much more expensive. Doing like sales tax ended up being something that cut into my profits because I didn't even realize that I had to charge it because I'm an idiot and I just didn't think about that. But that was how much my BOOKVAULT order was. It could have been significantly more had I not gotten like the very randomly cheap shipping rate, the heavily discounted one. And I don't know how much I can rely on that cheap rate for the next one, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of digging. But so all in all, I was extremely impressed with BOOKVAULT and absolutely will be using them for future pre-orders and future orders. They might become my go-to printer for everything, for like paperbacks and hardcovers. I would really love for them to get a printer in the US that does hardcovers with jackets so that I don't have to deal with shipping them from the UK, because FedEx can be really obnoxious and like send you taxes and fees and charges and duties and stuff that they should not actually legally be allowed to send you, but they send them to you anyway. So I would absolutely recommend BOOKVAULT if you are looking to go with a big shipment of books. Are they perfect? No, but they are by far the best in terms of all of the printers that I used, in terms of both reliability and speed and quality. Like they blew all of the other printers out of the water. So that's all I have for you for this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. If it was, I'd be super grateful if you could give it a like and also subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes weekly videos sharing actionable writing tips that helps me make my own writing better, as well as business videos about the business of being an indie author. I hope you have a great week, everyone, and as always, happy writing.